Week 21 of the fantasy basketball season, also known to the layman as the playoffs, Chris Meaney. Garion and Thorne here too. I know the season has flown by. And you know, if you've listened to us every single week, you're probably not playing in week 21 because you're one of the best teams in your league.
Nice.
Because we give the best advice ever. But if you do have a matchup this week, and obviously very important matchup, you got to win this, got to keep going in the playoffs. 26 teams have 4 games during week 21. Only the 76ers, Lakers, Rockets, and Bulls with 3 games during week 21. So a lot of players to choose from. Let's start with a guy who's really been tearing it up as of late. And again, we can't seem to stop talking about the Knicks. We love the Knicks here at Fantasy Sports Network. And if this guy has been on your DFS roster the last couple nights, you've probably been winning some money because Alexei Shved has been absolutely fantastic. Double-digit rebounding totals in his last 2 games. Since joining the New York Knicks, 12.8 points, 4.2 rebounds in those 9 games. I won't really count the first one where he only played 3 minutes. But his last 4, 17.3 points, 6.8 rebounds, 4.3 assists, and he's played at least 25 minutes in every single one of those contests.
Yeah, that's what I like about it, too, because his last 2 games, he played 33 minutes and 41 minutes. So look at his line. I mean, 14 points, 11 assists, 6 boards, 21 points, 10 assists, 7 boards. Just getting the playing time in New York, and that's the thing, right? When you look at teams that are not where they want to be in the standings, there's obviously a lot of opportunity to grab some of these players. And I mean, Shved has been unreal. Double-digit points in 8 of his last 9. He's got 8 threes in his last 3 games as well. And you talked about, you know, his rankings just in Yahoo. He's basically a top 30 player over the past 2 weeks, 15, 5, and 4 with 2 3-points made per game. So yeah, I like it. The minutes are there. There's some injuries there. And Shved is a guy that you should definitely pick up.
And he's never been shy. In fact, if you look at his usage rates from the 3 different teams he's been on this season, so Philadelphia, Houston, and New York, this is actually the lowest usage rate he's had of any of the 3 teams. In New York at 24.6%. It was 26.6% in Philadelphia, not all that surprising. But again, if you look at the Knicks as a team, the only person who would have a higher usage rate right now who's not Carmelo Anthony, who's obviously not playing, is Andrea Bargnani, and we told him to pick him up last week. So he's not available in your league because you already have him. Sticking with, well, more traditional point guards in the sense of Alexei Shved, not exactly your traditional point guard, but Dennis Schroeder, tearing it up as of late. Does have a little bit of an ankle issue, so most likely he could miss Friday's action, probably going to play on the weekend, so I would definitely say he's going to be ready for his games next week, but it's something you'll want to monitor. But been absolutely fantastic as of late. 8 double-digit scoring games in his past 9, but he's also doing it in other areas. Yeah,
I mean, I love the assists. This is something we talked about off camera when we were saying, depending, if you have a bye, you look ahead to the following week. And the Atlanta Hawks, if you look at the standings, 9.5 games lead. These guys are going to be resting. You know, Teague, you got your Millsaps, you know, Horford, all these guys are going to be resting. And you know what? They have been resting in the majority of the season, and they're still getting by. Schroeder is a guy that I really, really do like. Over the last 2 weeks, 13 points, 6 assists. That's what he's averaging. Over the past month, it's basically the same, 12 points, 6 assists. He's got double-digit points in 6 straight games, 8 of 9. Double-digit shot attempts in 7 of 9. He had a game where he shot 15 times. He had 2 games where he shot 14 times. 41 assists over his last 6 games. In that last game, he only had 1 assist. So the numbers really don't reflect what he's really putting up. You know, averaging 7 assists over those 6 games. I'm a big fan of his. I really do think that you should pick him up. The minutes are going to increase. You know, 30 minutes against Philadelphia, he had 16 and 6. 35 minutes against Miami, he had 16 and 10. So if he's going to get the playing time, he's going to put up numbers. He's going to get you assists. Assists are so hard to come by off the waiver wire, and we just talked about 2 of them.
Yeah, again, 6.8 assists over his last 6, which is a fantastic number. Like you said, though, it's a very important point is, you know, if you're not playing this week and you have a bye, don't just consider it that you can take this week off and don't do anything. It's almost like the football playoffs. You know, go out and kind of screw around with other teams, but more in the sense that if you have a moves cap in your league, let's say you can only make 4 roster moves a week, don't go into next week waiting to use those moves to get 4 players using those moves. Use your moves this week, and then you have 4 streamable options or 4 streamable moves for that week 22 matchup. So yeah, set yourself up, exactly. Moving inside, a guy we've talked about a lot on these 4-game starts, but again, he's unowned in several leagues, usually hovering around 34% in Yahoo, 20% in ESPN. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist continues to be absolutely fantastic. Really has revolutionized the way he scores the ball this year, but just so consistent on the glass. I mean, 9.3 rebounds a game since February 22nd. Hasn't had less than 6 rebounds in any of those games. That's a 10-game run. Actually, he's 23% defensive rebounding rate. It's just outside the top 20 overall in the NBA, and all the guys ahead of him are either power forwards or centers. So he's the best rebounding forward non-power forward in the entire league right now.
And there's some couple injuries in Charlotte. I mean, Jefferson said he heard a pop in his calf the other day, so that's very questionable. And I mean, Cody Zeller is banged up, so there's more minutes to be had with Kid-Gilchrist. He's the 82nd best ranked Yahoo player over the past month. So it's not just the past 2 weeks that this guy's been good. I mean, over the past 7 days, averaging 12 and 8, shooting 52% from the floor. The last 14 days, 11 and 8, shooting 47% from the floor. And over the past month, 30 and 9, 54% from the floor. It's just consistency, and I love the last game that he posted 23 points and 9 boards. He's got double-digit points, in 9 of his last 11 games. He's got double-digit boards in 5 of his last 9 games. It's consistency, and Kemba Walker's back now. He's going to jack up some shots. Kid-Gilchrist, I still expect him to be involved, and he's like you said, widely available, like 34%, and even less in ESPN leagues. So this is a guy I think he's going to get the minutes, he's going to get the playing time, and he's going to put up some numbers.
And you think it'd take Kemba a little bit of time to filter back into the offense. So
yeah.
Kid-Gilchrist is still going to definitely have some time and some opportunity to score some baskets there. Last guy, Ben McLemore, another person who's been really tearing it up as of late in his sophomore season, actually coming off a season high, 27 points against Charlotte on Wednesday of last week. His last 9 games, 15.2 points, 12 field goal attempts per game. And in one of those games, he was held scoreless.
Yeah,
so, I mean, he's really been fantastic in spurts. 20-plus points in 4 of those 9 games. Now, obviously, he has kind of the classic shooting guard dilemma where he doesn't really do anything else.
That's a thing, yeah.
So if he's not hitting threes and he's not scoring, he's not doing anything for you, but he does play a ton of minutes. And this is something I've mentioned all season long with McLemore. Has played 40-plus minutes in 10 of the Kings' 63 games so far this season. Has actually played 30-plus in 63.5% of their contests. So he's going to be on the floor, and you kind of hope he gets some rebounds or assists just through osmosis, or maybe a steal or 2.
Yeah, and that's a thing. And you said it right there with Ben McLemore. If he's not scoring, he's not doing much, but he's getting the playing time. You talk about the 40-plus minutes. 40-plus minutes in 2 of his last 3 games. I mean, that's solid. 16 shot attempts in each of his last 3 games. So he's shooting the ball a ton. You don't worry about your field goal percentage there. You just want some threes. You just want some points. McLemore can provide that.
Like I said, 26 teams to choose from in Week 21 with 4 games. Chris Meaney, Garion, Thorne. I would say good luck in the first round of the playoffs, but you won't need it because you're listening to us. So
you got this.
Keep watching Fantasy Sports Network for your second round matchup, which I'm sure will be coming on the hardcourt.